Life granted to the book of life. Life granted to that book, and everything that is written in it placed upon our bodies as a fleshly bread, a firmament of growth, whether it be a fattening of false prophets, bullies that eat up prophets, whatever is written in the Bible is says that they do to the prophets, and the lips of uh, the lips of wisdom feed many people. In the book of Daniel, it talks about the great war in Michael the Archangel and God, who is established to be in this realm, Helheim, Odin. Odin, who had gave birth to Beowulf in the realm Helheim through the flesh. Odin being a angelic figure, um, where Beowulf is born in the womb of a woman through flesh, by one of Odin's offspring. And then the great war that took place in Beowulf's time, and believed to be the book of Daniel, where uh, King David, Wiglaf, they fought the war together, and Michael the Archangel was with him, and this war was against Xerxes and the Archangel San Miguel, San Miguel, the Archangel that um, Michael the Archangel had faced in the times of Xerxes, um, with the dark races, mostly noted as Muslims or Africans, Spanish, or dark races. And Xerxes in that time had, um, well, let's say that the defeating God, it talks about in Daniel, to be uh, either Beowulf or it would be King David. There's nothing to say who it actually was, but the book of life was delivered uh, by God, Odin, who had given that book of life to Daniel, which is the cup of the livestock, or the cup of the lion of Judah, which is Levi, and Levi is Matthew, and Levi is Judah. And this is the analogy of Jesus Christ, who was reborn in Matthew, and also crossed next to Jesus Christ. Matthew and Jesus Christ were crossed with that pig cherubim, um, who denied Jesus Christ at the cross. Whether it was a pig in the bosom of Matthew and Jesus Christ, they were all one, and it was just Matthew that was crossed as Levi, the tax collector. I can't say it, but the realms are said to be one with the favored union. However, the the God who delivered the book of life after Beowulf, the son of the god Odin, born in the fleshly realm of Helheim, who fought the Archangel with Michael the Archangel, the injured dragonhead. This is the war between San Miguel, the Archangel, and Xerxes, and Beowulf, and the Archangel Michael with Odin. Odin, who rode Michael the Archangel. Odin is known to have a cross in his eye, and half of his head is injured. Um, Same like mind with the dragon, Archangel Michael, and Beowulf is the son of that archangel and God Odin, who rode the archangel, or who rides the archangel Michael, and the war between the Xerxes, another Irish child of Poseidon and Ariel, which was the third and final woe, noted through understanding childbirth, dying from God, being born in the belly of the womb of a woman. So Ariel being a woman in the world, and Poseidon being a god that rode the dragon Quilon, Quilon, and Poseidon being the god who fought Odin, and or San Miguel. It says Quilon in some literatures, but it was San Miguel's battle with Michael the Archangel. So Poseidon the name Quilon may be false, and the actual name is San Miguel Archangel with Poseidon, who favored his son Xerxes, the penis fish, that measured the church with King David in in the um, in the ark, in the ark of the covenants of livestock, in the ark of the bull, in the ark of livestock. All of the covenants made by Odin and Beowulf, his son, who carried it. And then at some point, Caesar was born from Beowulf, whether it was through Delphi or another woman, unsure, not 100% sure what it was. But then, after the book was delivered to Daniel, there was a crossing of Jesus Christ, and it took down the dynasty of Odin through the commandments. I believe that Jesus Christ was a part of Poseidon and San Miguel the Archangel, and King David was a part of uh, Odin and Beowulf and the Archangel Michael, and the two who shared that ark when King David shared it with Xerxes. In some of the biblical scriptures, it talks about that there was an ark shared between the golden bull and the penis fish rod that measured the church, Xerxes, and Poseidon, his father, which was San Miguel the Archangel, or Quilon the Archangel, known as Death, or the penis fish, Xerxes, known as Death. Death meaning the penis puts it in a woman's womb. It gives birth to a child, and that child dies from God and is born into this world with a deathly wellspring of life, life in death, or death and life. So the war was between the two, um, Poseidon and Odin, and the two archangels, Michael and San Miguel, or Quilon and Michael the archangel, and then the war with Beowulf, which was Odin's spiritual son in this realm, Helheim, and then Xerxes, which was Poseidon's spiritual son, born in this world realm, Helheim, and the great war that took place, and in the book, in the book delivered to Daniel, and a great crossing that took down the dynasty of Odin, and Jesus Christ, who is the Savior, with Levi as the tree of Judah, um, speaking. Jesus Christ comes down in the flesh and speaks in the flesh. It's kind of the same thing with Enoch, when Enoch came down and spoke in the flesh, but it was through a favored subject in a union with archangels for purity in the helmet of salvation being there are many people with children and the vile things that they do as adults, wearing the crown of death, which is childbirth, or every creepy crawling thing on its belly through Delphi, the python. And then there's Xerxes, who made a covenant with Delphi for the viper Medusa. And then there's Jesus Christ, who made a covenant for Satan, the phoenix dragon. And in that Ouroboros Pythionist church, we are in a constant war of that Xerxes and that viper Medusa covenant with Delphi, the salvation between the two who established that war, the salvation in Jesus Christ between the two confrontations of, it appears to be Levi and Judah, the confrontation between uh, childbirth or Adam and Eve and so on, to law, money, woman, riches, and gain, and intellectual properties being protected or thefted, and so on and so on. But I thought it's not played like this on any movie, but I thought I would share in my time with understanding and having wisdom with the great God who brought me back after the first 40 years. It was roughly 30 I'm still in the war. Roughly, it's 40 years. It's been 40 years since I've been in the vainglories of a law. Granted, vainglories aren't bad. They just are idle musicians, strippers, governors, senators, presidents, so on, that have clothed themselves in children by the divided houses, and the trophy they wear as a judge, they're putting people in prison or in jail, and so on. And then there are people from foreign countries that have no king because they killed the king, and the women who have no king that are for those people because they crossed that king. So I don't know. I thought I would explain it just in case they tried to make another movie and mislead a bunch of people to believe something and not actually factual. I've been watching a lot of these movies that they make about God, especially the latest ones. They're not really that great. They're really false. However, not a lot of people understand the reality of flesh with eating that forbidden fruit and feeling, dying for God, and the reality of dying back into God being that we see, we think, and we feel through the heart differently because we are with a great numerous amount of species in the inheritance, which is the covenant of the God who formed Adam and Eve from the very foundation of the earth, from the very foundation of every living species, every creature, every nature, every flying bird, every fish in the sea, everything. So the great war in the book of Daniel, all the way through the beginning of King Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and the end of the book where it talks about time is time, and half a time, and blessed are those who make it through to the end. And the great war still exists with the Xerxes penis fish because children are born in this world every day, and because they are born in this world every day, and a lot of those houses are divided by families hating their children, or judges arresting mothers and fathers, and the children being left without or hating their parents, and this, that, and the other. It's a term of family loyalties that God casts down and seeks one with real understanding for purity. So it's similar to Jesus Christ, but there's only one Jesus Christ, and we had established long ago that he was the king who wore all people's iniquity, all them that chose their ways, and those people with San Miguel had turned their land dry, desolate, crossing Jesus Christ with all of people's iniquity that chose their way. San Miguel being um, well established to be one of the archangels of California, or some Islamic or Syrian, not real sure, but there are 12 tribes, and each tribe is established with an arc of their own, a species, upright, a people, or there are 7 archangels with 7 churches. No one knows the real truth because we have gone to war over this many times, and the government is one of the trickiest people to deal with, and lawless. So you don't know the truth, but it's out there. You just gotta find it.